Let me ask you a question. Can you have an affair without being intimate with someone? That's the question. So let's talk about it. Thank you so much for joining my YouTube channel, Ask Lois the Relatable Therapist. My name is Lois Godot, and this YouTube is all about promoting positive relationships. And I get my inspiration from blogs, reality TV, news reporting, or anything that I see that I think that's going to give me some information that I can use to help you have positive relationships. And so just stay tuned because I'm going to talk a little bit about a situation. And toward the end, I'll connect it into what I call, so what can we learn from this? What can we learn from whatever is going on in this situation? So stay tuned toward the end. So today we're going to talk about, of course, this is going to be about reality TV. And I don't know if any of you remember Apollo Nida, and I'll put his picture up in a minute. He was married to Phaedra Parks, and she was on The Real Housewives of Atlanta. They have since divorced, and he has remarried. And recently, she was on another reality show called Married to Medicine, and he came on and he talked about some things. But what I want to talk about is what he talked about on the Carlos King show. And he talked a lot about some background information about things that we didn't know about him. And it's one particular thing that he talked about, and I wanted to pull that out and kind of land on it, and so we can talk about that. But before we get started, let me go ahead and do my disclaimer. This video is protected under the Fair Use Act under Copyright Disclaimer Section 107. Everything I talk about is alleged, it is my own opinion, and as a therapist, I'm going to connect a lot of this to real life. And one of the things that prompted me to do this particular live today is because when I have counseling with couples, a lot of times they'll talk about things that happen. And one of the things they say is, but we didn't do anything. But I didn't do anything with that person. And they don't realize that there is such a thing that's called emotional affairs. Some people call it emotional adultery, but you can get so entangled with someone that it becomes an emotional affair. So before we go any further, let me tell you about the person we're talking about. This is Apollo Nida, and the picture on the left in the striped shirt is how I remember him on The Real Housewives of Atlanta. He was with Phaedra. He committed a crime. He went away to jail for about 5 years. And when he reappeared, this is how he looked on the left. He's gotten older. He sports a beard now. And so this is the person that we're talked about. And like I said, he was on the Carlos King Show podcast, and he was very candid about things that happened in his life, things that he hadn't shared with anyone before. But one of the things that he was talking about is when he was convicted of this crime and he was going to go to jail. And he said that him and Phaedra were starting to have, problems. Of course, he's going to be gone away for 5 years, and it caused problems in the relationship. And so he started confiding in someone. He started confiding in this woman that he met through a friend of his. And in his mind, he was like, well, you know what? Phaedra's not listening to me. I feel like I'm in a dark place. I feel like I'm all alone. And so he started talking to this woman. He was sitting on her couch and he's telling her about the problems that they're having. And she's like, I'm going to be with you. I'm your friend. You're not alone. And he started feeling, because he said, I felt like she was somebody I can confide in. I felt like she was somebody that would be there, because she actually said, I'll be there for you. Of course, after he came out of jail, this is the person that he married. So he married her. And so fast forward, so he's still talking in the podcast. I mean, it's more detailed to it. I'm not going to go all into it because this is not about the podcast. This is about some of the things that happen in the podcast that I think that we need to discuss, because it can help someone else in their situation. And him and his second wife, her name is Sharina, they started having difficulty in their relationship. He talks about, we started having some communication problems. So again, what does he do? He starts talking to another woman, starts confiding in her, talking to her about the situation, what's going on. And these are some of the things that he said. He said that, he would talk to her because he couldn't talk to Sharina, that's his current wife. And then he said when Sharina found that he had been texting her, he tried to cut it off. But he said it was easier said than done because he enjoyed talking to this person. And he said that he felt really close to her. Consequently, she was having problems with her relationship. That's how they connected, because she had a boyfriend and Apollo was married, and so they connected on having difficulties in their relationships. Boyfriend found the text. He exposed it out to the world. That's how it got out there that Apollo was standing by her ring camera. He was in the house, and he exposed those texts. But the point of the matter is that Apollo, it seems like he had a pattern of, whenever he would get into some type of difficulty in his relationship, he reached out to talk to another woman. And he felt that there was nothing wrong with it, because he even said, we didn't do anything. We didn't sleep together. But what he's failing to realize is that all the things that he's saying that happened, that equates to an emotional affair. And I want to talk a little bit about some signs that you can know when you're in an emotional affair, because sometimes people think that, hey, this is just a friendship. And all of a sudden, when it gets closer and they're like, I don't know how this happened. That's because you were going down that line. You were going down that road of it being an emotional affair. And the thing is, some relationships are platonic. They start out as platonic, that we're just friends and you just enjoy talking to that person. But over time, the boundary starts getting blurred. You start stepping over those boundaries. And when you start stepping on those boundaries, it starts becoming a slippery slope, because now you're starting to enter into another phase, another place. And I like to call it, in my counseling, is that door is starting to open. That door for an emotional affair, that door for an emotional connection that will turn into an actual affair. That door is starting to be open, because you don't intend, and I don't think Apollo intended on going into this emotional affair, but I think, just like he said, I had no one to talk to. There was nobody there. And so he turned to another female. And see, one of the things I wanted to notice is, for him, this was a pattern. He did it when he was with Phaedra. When they started having difficulty, that's when he turned to Sharina. And then when he started having difficulty with her, he turned to another woman. So one thing he needs to realize is that this is a pattern that I have. When things are not going well, I turn to another woman. And that is an indication that, this could turn into an emotional affair that could potentially turn into something else. And so I just want to look at some signs of emotional affair. And one of the signs is the frequent contact. You frequently contact this person outside of, let's just say, if you work together, outside of working, maybe you're texting them more. Maybe you're FaceTiming them more. Maybe you're calling them more, but you're doing something to keep that contact. And in this situation, one of the things that Apollo did was, he said, you know what? I constantly text this person. That's how Sharina found out about him with this other woman, is she found texts, and he had been texting her, trying to keep that contact, trying to satisfy that emotional void that he felt that he wasn't getting in his relationship. Another way that you can tell that this is an emotional affair is frequent sharing of information. You're excited about something. Who do you want to tell? Do you want to tell your partner, or do you want to tell this friend that you have? When you have a bad day, who do you tell? Do you tell your partner, or, once again, are you sharing the information with this friend? That's one way to know that you're having an emotional affair, about how much you want to share with this person. Another way you can tell is the secrecy, that you don't want other people to know. You don't want your partner to know that you're doing this. So you may talk to this person late at night when your spouse is asleep, or when your partner is asleep. Or you may talk to this person behind closed doors, or somewhere else where your partner, again, can't hear. And so some people may say, well, this is really not secrecy. But if you intentionally leave things off from your partner, you're intentionally not letting your partner know what's going on, what you're talking about, that's secrecy. Because you and your partner are there because you have a bond, a connection, you have a commitment. And if someone else is coming in between where you can't share with one another, then that is potentially going down that road of an emotional affair. Another way you can tell you're having an emotional affair is when you have constant thoughts of the other person. You're thinking of them. You're thinking of doing things with them. Can't wait to get together with them so you can share these things with them. And sometimes you may start having thoughts about intimacy with that person. You're going down this road of an emotional affair. Another way you can tell that is when you're feeling, I'm misunderstood. My partner, my spouse, they don't understand me. We constantly argue, but this person, they really get me. They get me, and we have so much in common. We're so much alike. And so you start telling yourself those things because you are trying to create, you have created this scenario that you and this person are more alike than different. And another way you can tell is that you start sharing deeper things with them, sharing things about your relationship, sharing things that cause you to be uncomfortable. You're sharing with them the challenges in your relationship, what's causing you not to be close to your spouse. And the thing is, when I say about opening that door, when you start sharing with this other person, let's just go back to Apollo. When he told Sharina that, you know what, Phaedra isn't there for me, she told him, I'll be your friend. So that person starts being the person that the other person isn't. They become whatever that other person has not become. And so those are those red flags that you need to watch out for. So when I say that door has become open, you can know that door has become open when this person wants to be and feel that need that you have. Because if they're your friend, they may say things to you, well, you know what? Have you talked to them? They may say things to you like, you know what? Well, maybe if you do this, maybe this will get better. But they're not trying to make it better. They're trying to let you continuously depend on them. And the last way I'm going to say is that you start comparing your partner, your spouse to this person and seeing how they just don't match up. They just don't match up, and you start judging them and critiquing them. And of course, this other person that was your friend, they come out looking much better, much more favorable. And so, what can we learn from all of this? What can we learn from all of this? Because sometimes people really don't know. Like I said, Apollo, I think like he said, there's nothing wrong with this. I remember if you listen to the interview, he even said one thing about when he was with Kenya. He's like, she threw me in the pool. So I picked her up and threw her in the pool. I didn't see anything wrong with it because my wife was right there. And so he would say things like it's so innocent, like he just didn't see that this could create a potential problem. And if Phaedra and Kenya hadn't been fighting, it might have turned into something more if they hadn't been fighting. So you really have to be careful that you don't open up that door. Because once you start becoming emotionally attached to someone, and like some of the things I said, you're looking for them, you're waiting for them, you want to talk to them, you're starting to go down that road of an emotional affair. And so one of the things you can do is when you do find yourself down there, be honest. Don't keep saying, oh, no, this isn't happening. Oh, no, that's not what it is. Be honest. Be honest with your partner and say, you know what? I think I've gotten a little too close to this person. I've gotten a little too close to this person, and pull away. And then you need to sit down with someone that could probably help you process that. I think with Apollo, he needs to sit down and talk with probably a counselor, because this seems to be his pattern. His pattern, when things don't work out, he starts seeking another female companion, because he could have easily talked to a male friend. He could have easily talked to a male friend if it was just that he wanted some support. But because of the fact that he keeps seeking out females, it lets me know that there is a deeper issue here. It's not just the matter of you're just looking to talk to someone. You're looking for maybe some comfort. Maybe you're looking for somebody to validate who you are. Maybe you're feeling undervalued. And then that's when you can talk to a counselor. A counselor could be able to help you in those areas. So let's keep this conversation going. Comment below and let me know if this is something that you've encountered. Let me know, is this something that you've encountered? Have you ever been in a situation where you felt like you were having an emotional affair? And go ahead and subscribe to this channel, comment and like, and share this, because this channel is all about promoting positive relationships. And let me know if there's something you want me to talk about. Something that you've experienced, you can let me know in a comment, or you can send me a direct message, something that we can talk about that you're going through. Because again, like I said, this channel is all about promoting positive relationships. And I know there are some channels out there and they're dragging people and talking about people. And if that's what you're looking for, this channel is not about that. This channel is for people that want to have positive relationships. They want to have better communication. They want to have better communications on their job, with their family, with their friends. That's what this channel is all about. So if that's what you're about, then go ahead and subscribe to this channel. And here's another video that I did that's going to help you on their journey to having positive relationships.